Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mental Misdeeds. We're live. It's me, your boy, the degenerate king, the spicy Italian, the infamous, as you can see above me, Caleb Salvatore. I've almost got my lights and studio set up. Still got some work going on. It's kind of chaotic around here. I'm looking at just an army of boxes around me. I feel like I'm in like Night of the Living Dead or something, but we're working. We're working with it, and finally stuff's getting underway. So I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Dre. I'm Italian, not quite as spicy, but just watch me. I mean, I can get spicy. It just depends on the situation.
Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's necessary.
don't make me pull out the spice if it's not necessary.
For sure. For sure. Do we want to kick off with our sponsor for the week?
Absolutely. All right. So, as Thomas Jefferson said, the tree of liberty must be watered from time to time with the blood of tyrants. This is the official spirit of 1776 wine, Blood of Tyrants. You can get a discount of $5 off shipping with our discount code of Mental. We are partnering with the Blood of Tyrants to launch this new Merlot. Not only is it deliciously smooth, it makes a great gift, bookend, talking piece, or Molotov cocktail, in case the Russians invade.
Well,
Speaking
they're
of
not
which,
coming. They're not coming.
did you see those fucking ads they're putting out in New York City for in case there's a nuclear attack?
Oh, yeah. In case I sent it to Zach Bravietti the other day. It's like, hey.
Oh my god! Go inside.
Yep.
Okay, just duck under a desk. It'll be fine.
Well, there's something to be said. If you can survive the initial blast, and stay inside, it actually you have a fighting chance of making it.
Right, but you have to be pretty far away from the initial blast.
Yeah,
and be inside.
If you're dead center, it's over. Yeah.
If you're within like miles, right? Like that shit it's nuclear. It's yellow cake.
Yeah.
You don't survive that shit if you're anywhere near it.
The shitty thing about it is it's the people that die in the blast are the lucky ones. Because I mean, if you don't die of radiation poisoning, congratulations, you get to gut it out through nuclear winter. Because if there's one nuke, it probably won't be the only one that fires. So you get to gut it out through nuclear winter. You get to deal with radiation poisoning, all kinds of weird cancer that they have no treatments for. But it's not like it's going to matter because there won't be any doctors or hospitals out there. You get to deal with food shortages, inability to grow food, contaminated water.
The soil's fucked.
Yeah, below sub-zero temperatures. I mean, yeah, it's a great time. You really want to go through it. So yeah, no, the people that die in the blast are the lucky ones, which is why we keep moving closer to Sac Air Base. So
oh god. So what did Bravietti have to say about that? Did he know about it? Was he laughing? Like, what was his reaction?
Pretty much the same thing. I hope I die in the flash. That's what else can you do there? Like it's kind of like, if you're gonna go in a nuclear war, it's better in the flash than through radiation poisoning or weird cancer, or you get eaten by mutants. I've played lots of Fallout. I know how that shit works. So,
well, I think that overall, I'd rather die quickly than suffer immensely for whoever knows how long. Fuck that. Like, just
probably
I'd rather go quickly.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, because you can't like. Potassium iodide tablets are what keep you from getting radiation sickness, and you can actually get those for pretty cheap online, and they'll just ship it to your house, and it's not like an over the counter. It's like an over the counter. It's not a huge deal, and you can get those shipped to your house. But if you make it long enough on the tablets, then you have to deal with all the other stuff, which is you can't grow any crops. There's no animals you can hunt because it's all contaminated with radiation.
Well, you got to get the fuck a state away or something at least, right?
Even then, it's not going to matter. I mean, typically when the theory behind nuclear war, I mean, they'd target big cities first, but the next thing they would target would be the breadbasket areas. They'd target.
Right.
They'd want to hit.
They want
to contaminate the soil so that you cut the supply line off. That's typically the number one goal.
We'd be fucked.
So no matter what, I mean, it's a horrible thing. Really hope it doesn't come to that. But yeah, we're all fucked if it happens.
I'm kind of. I have faith that we have better technology and missiles defense systems than the Russians. I'm sorry. I just do. I mean, I've seen inside Russian hospitals in recent years. They're using plastic outdoor chairs
Oh, for sure.
people
Yeah.
to sit in. You know what I mean? These
Yeah.
people are not advanced. I don't think that a Russian missile is going to reach our soil and not get shot down.
I don't either. But there's still a problem with blowing up nuclear weapons in the air. Like that shit getting in the atmosphere would still cause chaos. I don't know if I don't think it could hit the mainland. I could think they could hit the coast, but I really don't want to find out. I'd really rather not.
I also
not
don't
tempt them.
think. I also don't think that that is a thing that we have to worry about. I don't think that Putin is about to launch a fucking nuke over here. Why?
No.
His war is with Ukraine, and they're next door. He's having fun with that little skirmish.
The only thing that concerns me is the possibility that he has cancer. So if Putin has this terminal cancer, like everyone makes it sound like, you don't really have a lot to lose. I mean, he's got a kid, but he sounds like a sociopath. I don't think he really cares about his kids. It's I'm going out, you're all going out with me. I'll press the button and we'll do this.
Maybe he may be a socio.
Oh, for sure, he's insane. I mean, it's these people that talk about like, oh, they're taking these big losses on the ground in Ukraine. The Russians are, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how good that is. Because, yeah, I mean, it's great that these people are defending their homeland, but the more desperate and pissed off you make this guy, the more likely he is to just hit the button and say bye-bye, because he's pissed off. Like,
Right.
I play Civilization. I know how that shit works. If I'm invading a country and they're putting up a hell of a fight and I can't take them over, I just nuke them and I swipe in and deal with what's left after the radiation's gone. So, I mean, I imagine I imagine he would play it kind of like I do in video games, but what do I know? So.
Well, let's fucking hope not.
Well, it's a crazy world we're living in. Shit sucks. It's all bullshit. So
It sure as fuck is a crazy world right now, man.
I don't know. Well, that's I guess we can segue from Russia into the first thing with Brittney Griner.
Oh God! All right, let me scroll down to this little area.
Yeah.
So I unfortunately caught I turned on the TV and it was on Comedy Central, fucking Trevor Noah, and the chick, the executive director of the WNBA was on there crying about Brittney Griner or whatever her name is being, falsely detained. And then I read the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe says that Griner is a beloved global citizen. I'm sorry, I thought she was American. Okay.
Yeah.
And that pay inequality has led to her wrongful detention. So she's wrongfully detained because she doesn't make as much as somebody in the NBA who generates millions, if not billions of dollars for their team every year.
The WNBA loses money every year. That's what people don't realize. The NBA actually subsidizes it and keeps it alive. Like a WNBA team is worth $0 because because they make no money.
That's why their trophy was this big for the whatever.
Yeah, it looks
MVP.
like a participation trophy you give a YMCA kid.
They only had $10 to spend on it. Get over it. Hopefully they got it engraved for the bitch. I don't know, but so like this says, she's smiling. She's wearing her own clothes in jail. Like we don't get to do that here.
No,
that's neither here nor there. But again,
yeah.
So the story has changed. First, she said that she was rushed packing. She didn't realize it was in her suitcase. Then she said it was somebody else's. I mean, if I'm following the story correctly, correct me if you've heard something differently. Now she says she had a note from her doctor for medical cannabis.
It doesn't matter in that country.
That doesn't matter in another state.
It doesn't matter in another state. Yeah, I can't take it to
another country.
Right. Yeah, no, it's so stupid. Like it was her manager said the other day that if it were LeBron James, he would have been out the next day. And that's what it means to be a woman, and that's what it means to be black in America. And I'm like, hold on. When did LeBron James become a white guy? I've never met a white LeBron before. I think that's And
I guarantee you LeBron wouldn't put it in his own suitcase. He'd have one of his little lackeys have
someone else would
take a fall.
Yep. Well, yeah, and that's the thing.
You can't afford lackeys. Poor her.
The thing about pay equality, so women's basketball players do make more overseas than they do in the United States because there's just not a market for it here.
Right.
And it's always women I see complaining about it. But you know what I never see? I never see women sharing stats about it. I never see him sharing highlights. I never see him talking about who's got the best chance. Ladies,
Do you
it's
see
there.
any
You can turn it on.
WNBA shirts in
No,
public?
you can buy the
At the
merch.
bar
You
when
can
you're
turn it
out?
on TV. You can buy tickets. They're almost nothing. You guys can.
You can
guys
support
can
them
pay.
if you want.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't. You don't talk. The only time that I ever see feminists talk about the WNBA is when they want to trot it out as some example of pay inequality, when they are the reason that it loses money every year. Period. That's all there is to it. The WNBA is subsidized by the NBA. It helps people feel good about themselves, like they're doing something for gender equality and social justice. And really all it does is give feminists a platform to bitch about.
So I don't know if the WNBA, any of the teams have done what the national winning soccer team did, and they played like a high school team and they lost to 15-year-old boys. Like incredible, like they just got pounded.
Yeah.
They got so fucking owned. But yet Megan Rapinoe or whatever the fuck her name is out there saying, I deserve this and I should get paid more and women's rights. Like shush it. 15-year-old boys do better than you.
Here's the thing. I wish that this men playing women's sports thing was around when I was in college, because let me tell you, I would have been all-American basketball player. There's no, maybe not D1, but D2 for sure. There's no one that would have been able to stop me in the paint. Nobody would have scored on me. I mean, they wouldn't be able to stop my weight. I'd weigh 100 pounds more than every player on the other team. I'd be at 6'1". I'd be the tallest player on the court. I absolutely. I would have identified as a female, and I would have dominated D2 women's college basketball out at Wayne State or something like that. And yeah, nobody, fucking MVP every year. I mean, right? I'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Zuby did it for like a day in the
for
UK
15
and
minutes.
broke all the weightlifting.
Yep.
All of them.
All the female records. Yeah, he identified as a woman for a short period of time and broke all of the records. And
hey, he felt like a lady that day.
Yeah, I remember people were commenting on it when he did that, and someone said, "Oh, I could see him starting to flinch. That was a lot of weight for him." I mean, he strained his muscles. That's what you do when you lift weights to prevent yourself from getting hurt. Like I could go curl at 20-pound dumbbells, and I'm still gonna you're still gonna see my muscles flex because it's a weight. Yeah. Like what are you talking about?
Somebody never lifted a weight, apparently.
Oh God, I don't know.
That's who says shit like that. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's never been to the gym, never even picked up a little, hand weight at their
kettlebell.
Ever.
Never. Yeah, no, precisely. And it's the same. It's people that don't follow basketball. It all comes back into ignorant people talking about things they don't know about. Let me tell you the truth here.
They got a lot to say.
Brittney Griner is probably the best player in the WNBA, if not top 5. So you put her on the worst team in the NBA, she's lucky if she makes the game day roster. That's the NBA gets 15 players on a roster. They get 2 two-way contracts so they can play in like the G League and stuff. 13 guys can suit up on game day. She's not one of the 13 best players on the worst team in the NBA. She's not. That's all there is to it. It's nothing against her. Women just aren't built that way to play with men like that. Now, if she were to go play at the YMCA, yeah, she'd probably dominate a bunch of guys. But there's a difference between professionals that do it for a living and people that do it for recreation. It's like Ronda Rousey could kick my ass. That doesn't mean she's going to go beat up John Jones, right? Like, yes, exactly. The absolute pinnacle of women's sports could go beat up the bottom of the barrel of men's sports. Yes, that I concede that, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, it's just there's a reason they don't make money because they don't generate. It's because it's not entertaining to watch.
Nobody is entertained. Nobody wants to buy the merch. Sorry. That's the way capitalism works. Yep. Marketing and capitalism works. You know, if somebody wants the product, they're going to pay for it. That's why the NBA is so successful and generates so much money every year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
used to anyway.
It still does in China, but no, I mean sports are sports are entertainment. That's what they are. I mean, yes, there's athletic factors to it. And what players are their skills and what they're capable of. But at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and people are going to pay for what's entertaining. There's a reason baseball is dying out. Younger generations don't find it entertaining because it's boring. And it's not a sport. It's not a sport. Baseball's not a sport. Neither is NASCAR. But so people are going to pay for.
These things take skill, but yeah, sport. I would call baseball sport. I would not call NASCAR sport. I would say it takes something that takes a lot of skill.
Yeah, baseball's probably a sport. I was being facetious there.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean Pac-Man takes skill though. That doesn't make it a sport, So yeah, I understand what you're saying there. No, I don't think driving a car is a sport. I know you'll piss a lot of people with Confederate flag tattoos off saying that, but that's a hill I'm willing to die on there. No, I don't believe NASCAR is a sport.
And talk about something boring to watch. I dated a guy that used to like it, and I'm like, I'd go over there on the day that it was on, and I'm like, okay. After like 4 minutes without a crash, I'm like, all right, they're just this circle.
The most exciting thing in the history of NASCAR was when Dale Earnhardt got killed. I mean, let's just put it out there. Let's just say That's sad. That was the most exciting thing that ever happened. It's like figure skating. It's only exciting when someone falls and smashes their wrist. Okay? You watch it for disaster. You don't root for the disaster to happen, but when it does, it's like, okay. Yeah, I kind of see.
Well, that's how I watch MMA. Like, I don't really want to see a bone come out of someone's skin, but
yeah. No, I know. It's just like when I go to like watch, or I used to run marathons. It's like I didn't go there to see a bomb go off, but if it did, it would be okay. That's a Boston joke. That's bad. So yeah. Yep, Brittney Griner, I think we've established is overpaid at $200,000 a year. So the thing I remember Brittney Griner from was years ago. She was like one of the first WNBA players to dunk on a consistent basis, and
she's freaking tall. I didn't look up how tall she was, but
like 6'7", isn't she?
I don't know. If we've got our producer, if you can,
I'll just pull it up on my phone real quick. But no, I mean, I remember when she dunked, and it was this huge deal. And this guy tweeted, "Look at that dunk by Brittney Griner." And I replied with the Jake from State Farm commercial and said, "Well, she's a guy, so." And I caused a little mini outrage. She is 6'9".
Damn.
She may be the tallest woman on earth. She's the same height as LeBron James.
Damn, she's a tall person.
Yeah,
like I was looking at the pictures of her like with the guards she was walking with, and she was towering over them. And I'm like, okay, well, Russia's in Asia. Maybe they're just short people.
No, Russians are big, dude. But yeah, she's 6'9", and so yeah, she's got to be one of the tallest women on earth, right? I mean, I can't imagine.
I mean, that's pretty tall for any woman, like even on the tall end.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fucking towering. So yeah, Brittney Griner. Hopefully you get out of Russia soon. If you don't, I think the world's really just going to go on. It's not really a big deal. I mean, look, we survived Kobe Bryant's helicopter accident. We can survive Brittney Griner not making it out of a Russian prison. Okay, the sports world will move on. That's all there is to
it. She probably knew she was breaking when she entered the country that she's been to several times since she works there.
Right. Sorry, someone was calling me. I text them. I can't talk right now. But yeah, no. I mean, it's like they play all over. I mean, China actually has a really massive market for basketball as well. So Stephon Marbury, who was a good player for a while in the NBA. He wasn't like Michael Jordan. He was a good player. He was Starbury, they called him. He went to play in China and was so good there playing with little Chinese. I mean, he's a 6'5" black guy, right? Played in the NBA for 15 years. Went over and played with these little Chinese guys, and he was so good that they built a museum about his life.
Wow.
That's how much he dominated, and just how much of a talent gap there is between the NBA and the rest of the world. I mean, Europe, guys
really loved him. I mean, China's not like one to do that kind of thing for
especially for a black guy. Yeah, especially for a black guy. Right. To get a museum made about you in China that wasn't like I'm sure there were like little racist like jabs throughout the whole place, but I mean, what more can you ask? I mean, it's progress for those people over there.
That is a lot of progress for them. I mean, like, yeah.
For the Chinese. So yeah, I mean, it's just a different world. Basketball players will travel frequently, though. I know European basketball is blown up, and guys can actually make a solid living playing basketball in Europe now. But yeah, this is not a basketball podcast, so we'll shut that off.
Yeah, And at one point, you started saying words, and it sounded like a different language.
But I will say LeBron James is a little baby though, and not just on the
Fuck
court
yeah.
complaining about fouls.
So, like, I was reading a little bit about him and his stats against like Michael Jordan today. And okay, so I do follow basketball just a teeny tiny bit,
Sure.
but I know like this much about it.
Mhm.
LeBron James flops more than anybody. He was on an all-star team and like did shitty. Where am I remembering this right?
What are you talking about?
They were like doing the comparisons about how Michael Jordan had this stat and this stat, and you know what I mean? And then when they played on all-star teams,
Oh, like in the Olympics?
Yeah, like LeBron just fucking sucked worse than anything he could have done, and he had tons of support.
He was a liability on the Olympic team. I remember that.
That's crazy. And he has. I remember watching the thing that bothers me, I think, most is the fact that he calls himself King James. Like, I'm royalty.
He also has Chosen One tattooed across his back, so there's that.
Chosen for what? Chosen to be the biggest douche ever?
Douchebag. Well, I mean, yeah, he kisses China's ass so much. He should just move there. Because he said, if I were Brittney Griner, I wouldn't want to come back to this country after. I'm like, dude, you can leave. He's literally a billionaire. You can leave. You can go get your own island, and we'll never hear from you again.
In this horrible country that has made you a millionaire or billionaire.
Billionaire. To dribble, you have become a billionaire dribbling a ball. I know, it's a horrible country. What a terrible place to live. You go live in China. Because you know what? If you were black in China and you weren't a mega celebrity like that, I guarantee you wouldn't think the United States was this terrible racist place. Guarantee it. That's the way it is. I mean, you see what the Chinese do to the Uyghur Muslims. You see how they remove the black guy from the Star Wars movie. I've been attacked on several apps by Chinese trolls, and things they'll just tell me your father is black. That's the insult that your father is black. I'm like, well, clearly at first I was taken back. Like, what? Like, I know I'm a little dark. Like, I'm Italian, but no one's ever mistaken me for black. I've gotten Mexican once, but never black. Like, and I couldn't, I was like, oh, they're racist as hell over there. This is this is how she's insulting me. So, I mean, I snapped back with a sweatshop joke, so I was really no better than her. But, what do you got? I mean, at that point, they had ripped the Band-Aid off, and it was just time to go. So,
yeah, people don't realize that in Asia, if you're not the right brand of Asian, you're not accepted. And you're especially not accepted if you're not Asian at all. Like, if you're white, if you're black, if you're whatever else. They're fucking racist as shit over there, and they have specific names for people like us.
Yeah, in
every country.
Yeah, I had a friend who married a woman that was Chinese, and her mother or grandmother was from China. And I remember I went over to their house one time, and I met her. And the first thing she says in her broken English, she comes up to me, she goes, "Oh, I'm just so glad you white." That was the first thing she said. And she goes, "Sometime we use the word," and if I say that, you guys know what word I'm going to say, I'm substituting here. We'd get kicked off YouTube if I said it, but sometimes we use the word, starts with an N, in my family. That's what she said. It just dropped a hard R N-word. The second sentence she ever said to me. And I was like, oh my God. And then she proceeded to say it like 4 more times. And I'm like, this is like, you barely.
And no American family, no matter how right they are, would drop the N-bomb to a stranger upon meeting them. It just doesn't happen.
I'm trying to think of the most conservative friend or parents of a friend I had growing up, and no, they would never say that.
Not a million.
No, they probably wouldn't even say it in their house. You know what I mean? Like, I know some like casually racist people, boomer brand of racism, right? No one's burning a cross in anybody's yard, but they're like, why do those people play their music so loud? And they would never, ever use that word. Never. They wouldn't even cross their mind to say that, even in a fit of rage. They might make little comments and stuff like that, but like, I mean, they would never in their wildest dreams drop a hard R N-word, especially in front of a stranger. that you just met. Like, I want to know what she would.
No big deal.
What would she have done if I wasn't white? That's what I wanted to know. And I'm like, dude, like
I would have gotten a black guy and went back over there with him.
Right. I'm like, dude, like
just be like, listen, brace yourself, just laugh.
Right.
It's gonna be funny. I just want to see what this bitch is gonna say. Because here's what she said to me.
Oh, she would have lost it. Well, I'm just like, dude, like you and your daughter are Chinese. She married a Mexican man. What does me being white have to do with this? Like, how
did they take the Mexican?
I don't know. I think that's so he's a pretty white Mexican for perspective. I mean, he's not. If you met him, you'd know what I meant. Yeah, he's got a he's an honorary white. I like to Mia and him. They're and a couple other people. They're honorary whites. I tell him that all the time. But so yeah, I mean he's very white presenting. He's not. You can tell he's Hispanic, but yeah. So I think she was willing to look past that. And that's usually an easier pill to swallow for a lot of racist families, is a Mexican than a black guy, because I feel like sometimes they feel like that's like the in between. You know what I mean? So, dude, if you do Ancestry.com tests, everyone, like, unless you were born in China and your whole family, like, everyone traces back to fucking Africa that lives in this country. Everyone does.
Well, and then I heard something interesting about that today on TikTok. So say, like, she said something real basic. So say you're 25% Scottish, you're 25% Irish, and you're 50% German.
Yeah.
That is only like 7 to 8 generations back. And it's based upon the populations that tested that way in those places at that time.
Right.
To some extent, it was super weird. So, like, you could do a 23andMe or whatever DNA test you want to do a couple times a year, and it will come back differently. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the population influxing and it's just weird. So I wonder where you can get like a much more specific, like, genealogical chart of your DNA, because they're talking about, certain traits being dominant and others being non-dominant.
Recessive.
So
recessive.
Yeah. So even if, say, you're a melanated person, if somebody in your family was, pale with blonde hair and blue eyes 6 generations back, 2 dark melanated skinned people could have a light skinned blonde haired person.
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, no, it's fucking wild. I mean, I'm Sicilian, right? And Sicily was a penal colony for the Italian government for a long time. So you had people of every country. Like, I mean, you had people from all over Europe. You had people from Africa. You had people from Asia that were in Sicily. And that's what a lot of people don't realize. So when someone says, like, I have friends that are ghost white, and Sicilians are usually a little bit darker, but I have friends that are pale ghost white that trace their ancestry back to Sicily. And, like, you can tell they're not Italian at all. It's probably like some type of Irish or something like that.
Yeah, I've got a friend who says she's 100% Sicilian. Her hair is super curly. She steps outside and she turns literally brown, like dirt brown.
Yeah. So maybe not quite Sicilian, but it's what's the ancestry website the Mormons run?
They run one?
Ancestry. Yeah, the Mormons run Ancestry.com, and wow. They run that. And what they'll do is, supposedly what they will do, because they'll fucking come after me. Supposedly what they will do, allegedly, is they will find people that have passed away and go on there and register them as Mormon. So it looks like their church is bigger than it actually was. Because on Ancestry, you can put like religion and stuff. So if you grew up Catholic or whatever, they will go on and put people as Mormon. So it looks like their church was much bigger and it draws more people in. That's a thing they do. Allegedly. Alleged. No proof.
So would you ever submit to one of these? Because what I've heard is once you do, they own your DNA.
No, and they can do whatever the fuck
they want with it.
I won't. I refuse.
I'm super curious. I'd love to do it, but I won't.
I refuse. Well, I mean, how do you know they're not just making shit up?
That
you know
too.
What I mean? Like, what if they just take your last name and they're like, oh, this looks like a German last name. All right, we'll say 65% from Germany, 20% from Who knows? I mean, they do fucking dog DNA tests now for people.
Yeah.
It's like $75. You can figure out how much Chihuahua your dog is. I know mine is all Chihuahua, based on the
Angry
little
Chihuahua, if that's a breed.
bite marks on my fucking hands and shit. Yeah. So no, I mean it's crazy. It's all that's the new grift. It's just collecting people's DNA. Not
Yeah.
I refuse to take part in it. It's not really my thing. So
Yeah. I like I said, I also wonder what the fuck they're doing with those samples.
yeah,
I
they're
don't
not
trust
throwing them out. They're hanging on to them for
No.
something. Well,
Yep.
they've been subpoenaed before for DNA in criminal
Exactly.
investigations. Those companies have been subpoenaed for people's DNA. So,
And I used to think that DNA evidence, the more the better, great, you know, it'll exonerate so many people. But then when you realize how fucked up the test can be and how you leave literal DNA everywhere, like you could touch a door and you're leaving DNA. Like, does that mean I committed a crime because I was there once? How can you tell when the DNA was left?
yeah, I mean, I imagine it has to wear off, and there's got to be ways to tell how long the stuff's been, like carbon dating, and sure, maybe that's dinosaurs, but there's got to be ways to tell how long
That's
stuff's
bones.
been on there. Bones. Oh, wow.
No, I don't think there's any way to tell how long DNA has been on something. Like if there's trace DNA left on like a surface of something, of an object, I don't think that there's a way to date that. I think it's only like within people or like blood or cells and stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not a DNA expert. I'd have to talk to one sometime. I did take
I watch too much TV.
I did a mock crime lab at the Mob Museum in Vegas, but that was the closest I got to doing that. Like we did ballistics on bullets and stuff like that. But that was the closest I got to anything like that. I try to stay away from the true crime. I know a lot of women that are just obsessed with it, and I'm like, you guys wonder why you're looking over your shoulders everywhere you go, because you hear constantly about serial killers and stuff. I'm like, turn that. My mom listens to that watches that stuff before bed, and I'm like, we watch King of the Hill before bed.
No, you got to watch funny before bed.
Yeah, you
otherwise you have bad dreams. Like I start watching spy movies before bed. I start having crazy dreams about shit that I shouldn't be dreaming about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I'm super intrigued, like with anything to do, like with, you know, the spy training, what they do when they're on the field, the gadgets that they get. It started with 007 and then the Bourne Identity. I just, that's what draws me to those kinds of films and shows is the gadgets and the technology and how they can like skirt technology when they need to, when they're flying below the radar. That like, have you started watching The Old Man?
No, I need to. Everyone's telling me to.
Oh my God, it is so good. So good. So yeah, old spy into next generation, you know, into modern day, you know what I mean? The guy's been not a spy for years and years. And so he, you know, he's got to go back to his old ways to stay under the radar. So it's really, really good. I definitely recommend it to anybody. It's one of the best new shows out there, honestly.
No, I've been watching. We just started watching Stranger Things. I've never seen it before, so I know everyone.
I enjoyed the first couple seasons. After that, I was like, it started getting a little woke, and I just lost interest. But there's one more newish one. It's got like 2 seasons out called Only Murders in the Building. Have you heard of that one?
No, is it true crime?
No. It is totally fictitious and just fun. It's Martin Short and oh my God, who's the guy that played the jerk?
Oh, what was this? Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
Yeah.
So and Baby Knees. What's her name?
Oh, I don't know.
You know who I'm talking
Baby
about.
Knees. What is it?
Oh, Selena Gomez. So.
Oh, okay.
So they live in this giant apartment, beautiful building in New York City, and murders start happening. And they start a podcast and trying to figure out the murders. It's really, really, really fucking good. I totally recommend it.
No, I'll have to look into that one. But yeah, no, it's fuck. I got trailed off. We're talking about spies and going to bed.
Oh, I totally got trailed off on shows. Sorry.
That's what everyone talks about. So you're going and That's what the first thing everyone talks about is what shows they're binging at the moment. It's crazy how much media has changed. Because I can remember not too long ago, the hot topic was, what do you think is going to happen next Sunday on Walking Dead? And now you can watch a whole season of a show in a weekend. Like,
Dude,
that's...
I can't. I'm really not digging having to wait a week between episodes. I'm not used to this. I don't like it, but whatever. I also love Animal Kingdom.
I know a lot of actors are pissed off about that. A lot of people in Hollywood are pissed off that they do all this work and it's because they like it, because it keeps them in the news longer. So when you have a show that's 18 episodes long, one episode on Sundays, you know, that keeps you in the news for 18 weeks. So that's what they like, is it keeps people talking about it and it keeps them in people's memories. Whereas if you watch a whole season on Saturday and Sunday, I mean, yeah, people aren't going to remember you until they drop the next season, if they do. So that's why people don't like a lot of actors and directors don't like the whole drop the whole season in one day kind of thing. And I can completely understand that.
I understand it, but I don't care as a consumer because that's how I like it.
Yep. No, it's changed and they're going to have to get used to it. It is what it is. There's nothing else you can do about it. So, I mean, it's kind of like shit sucks, but it's the new. No, me and I'm not really supposed to talk about it. We're working on a movie script right now, so it's in pre-production, pre-production. Nice. Nothing's official. It's going to take.
I hope it's a comedic movie.
No, it's a crime movie. It's a crime. That's all I can say. It's inspired by. No, I can't even say that. But no, it's a crime movie. There'll be some comedic elements to it, but it's going to be pretty dope. We just started writing it. It's going to be a long process because we all have a million things going on, and it's just very
cool.
When it comes out, it'll be cool. So I can't wait for that. I'm super excited.
Well, you'll have to tell me more about who's involved after the show because I'm super curious. This sounds.
It's just the three of us at the moment. It's me, Dave, and Brent. So that's all we got right now. But there'll be more once we iron out characters and figure out who's going to play who. But no, I've done minor acting roles before, but I've never done a major one like I'm going to in this movie, and I get to write for my character. So I'm pretty psyched about it. And Dave is David Terrell Green, for those of you that don't know him, he's a comedian, he's a filmmaker, and he makes music as well. He is a phenomenal talent, and just the way he is able to pick things apart, like from a filmmaker's and a director and a writer's perspective, is incredible. Really? He's very, very smart with that kind of stuff, and because Brent and I both have good ideas, but he has the experience in doing stuff, and he's able to look at things and help us kind of, push those good ideas into great ideas. So that's it's very awesome to work with someone like that knows what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? So
well, that's really fucking exciting, Caleb. I'm really happy for you guys.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited for it. So it'll be lots of fun. So I got projects. It's always fun being busy. Keeps me out of trouble. So
you're such a troublemaker.
Well, back in the day. I've calmed down since majorly, but back in my partying days, I would get in some trouble.
God, last week I considered Wednesday morning being like, hey, you know what? Maybe we should take that episode down. I can't remember what I said. I think I said too much about my bullshit in high school.
Maybe. Your statute's up. You're fine.
I know.
But no, I mean, I've been thrown out of most bowling alleys in the city at one point or another for different reasons. Turns out you can't. So we were at a work outing years ago, and we were at, I'm not even going to say the name of the place. And my boss at the time, I was drunk, right? Like they had we were doing pitchers of beer, and then the bar had this special for $1 Everclear and juice shots.
Oh, that's always the worst idea.
Shit back. And my boss, my fucking boss at the time, where this wasn't like Walmart, like this was a professional-ish environment. You know what I mean? Like you wore suits and shit. It wasn't a car dealership.
You worked at an office.
It was an office type thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The boss goes, hey, it'd be really impressive. Because I was like taking the ball, I was throwing it between my legs and stuff like that. I was doing it backwards and stuff. And he's like, it'd be really impressive. I was like, what? He goes, if you could make it all the way to the pins without the ball touching the ground. And I remember the other lady that was there, she was just standing there going, no, don't tell him to do that. And so I was like, you got it. So I took the ball and I tried to shot put it to the other end of the pins or to the other end of the lane. And of course it goes like 6 inches, right? Because those things are 20 pounds. And It sounded boom, and everything got quiet. Like everyone looked, and
Like
I
it was
hear
a gunshot.
Yep, that's what it. Yeah, it was loud. It didn't sound like a gunshot, but it sounded.
Right,
Yeah,
but
it was
a
like
boom.
dropping a sledgehammer on something, and I just hear the front desk guy go, "Hey, get the fuck out of here! Get your shit and go!" And then Nick Kohler, who's my co-host on the other show, because we used to work together many moons ago, Nick Kohler, he walked out because he was with us. He walked out in the bowling shoes. He was still wearing the shoes. And he's like, "You gonna give us those shoes back?" He followed us out. Yeah, it was a whole ordeal. And that was the night I did my first ever cement mixer. So I don't know if you've heard of it.
Those are so disgusting.
For the audience that doesn't know, a cement mixer, you get a shot of Bailey's Irish cream, and you get a shot of citrus juice. And you take one, and you don't swallow it, and you take the other, and you don't swallow it. And you swish it around in your mouth like mouthwash, and it curdles. And if you can swallow the stuff when it curdles, you are a champion. You win. You win the cement mixer. And I've won every cement mixer I've done. So all I can say is it's an accomplishment I'm proud of. So
have you ever heard of the shot the brain?
no.
So it's very similar to that, but I don't know what it is, but it's two things similar to that, but they do it in the shot glass. So you see it and it like coils around and it looks like a brain in the middle of the shot. And it's like, and it's congealed. So it's like half solid.
I think
and
it'd be harder
to take it.
That'd be harder to drink it if you saw it first. I didn't have to see whatever was was
happening in your mouth.
Yeah.
So yeah, it forms, it makes what looks like a literal fucking gray brain in the middle of this shot.
Yeah.
And it's a half solid and you take it and you can, it's what?
No, my favorite crazy shot's always been the Irish car bomb though. That's always, you ever do an Irish car bomb?
Unfortunately, I can do the only bomb I can do is a Vegas bomb, even though
that doesn't even count. It doesn't even count. It's just a shot with Red Bull in it. That doesn't count.
It's just Red Bull is fucking sick and disgusting.
Yeah, it's horrible and it's horrible for you. But you know what? The shit works when I need a kick. Like if I'm going to a comedy show and none of the coffee places are open, I grab a Red Bull, and that little can's a fucking magic bullet, man. That shit just wakes me up right away. And
so do those hit you different than like a Monster?
Yes. I feel like Red Bulls are more caffeine compacted into a smaller. It's basically like espresso. Like espresso is just caffeine in a little tiny shot, and it goes into your coffee.
The only thing I've ever really experienced is I found this like energy drink several years ago that I could stomach, and I was getting tired at work at my full-time day job at the desk where I had to concentrate. And so I drink it and I'd feel okay for a little bit, and then I would feel like I was about ready to fall asleep, but my eyes were like this.
Yeah.
And like, this is the weirdest fucking feeling in the world. Like I could go to sleep, but I'm also kind of sort of wide awake. Like I don't understand how people do that all day, every day.
Those things are fucking terrible for you. Energy drinks. It's just awful.
Well, don't they make all your like organs crunchy?
Yes, they're terrible for you. You're supposed to avoid them. Coffee is a much better alternative. The problem is now people hear coffee and they think the Starbucks version of coffee. Yeah, where it's basically a dessert with like a shot of espresso maybe. But no, I mean like coffee with a little bit of cream, you're in business. That's so much better for you than energy drinks. And yes, it's caffeine, so yes, you're going to crash, but you're not going to crash as hard. And that's the good thing about coffee. So that's, I mean, it's and plus it doesn't destroy your insides. It's been around forever.
Right. Caffeine is on the low end of the spectrum when it comes to shit that's bad for you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's all about the delivery and how much and all that jazz. So if you're just drinking regular coffee and you're like trying not to kill your stomach with black coffee every day, I think you're probably all right. But I don't know. I can't get into the shit. I drink water all day.
Yeah, water's probably better, but I mean, I am a caffeine addict. I will admit that to anyone. I tried to go an entire day without coffee once, and I became physically ill. Like I had flu-like symptoms by the end of the day.
Oh shit, dude! If you ever come off, you're gonna have to taper.
I drink 3 to 4 cups a day,
That's
Like,
not bad. My old boss used to drink it all day until he went
well,
to death.
I drink 3 to 4 cups a day, and I mix a shot of espresso in with it too. So I mean, it's no, I don't drink it at night. I refuse to drink it at night because I won't be able to sleep. But no, I love when people say caffeine is the most abused drug in the world. Like, okay, yes, if we're being technical, but let's not pretend there's a difference between any comparison between having 3 cups of coffee a day and waking up butt naked in a crack house, because it's a huge difference. Not even remotely close to the same thing.
Nobody ever sucked dick for coffee.
No one's exactly. No one's ever sucked a homeless man's dick for coffee money. You know what I mean? Like, it's, come on. Let's use some nuance here when we talk about it. You know
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
might be a strong addiction, but it's one that is, let's not put it on the same page as the fucking hard drugs, okay?
Yeah. How many functioning adults do you know that smoke crack 3 times a day versus functioning adults that drink coffee 3 times a day? Get back to me with that and we'll talk about it.
Like, if you've really got that fucking itch, you're going to spend $2 a day on coffee and you're going to be just fine because you have a job, because your coffee's keeping you going.
Absolutely.
Or your job supplies fucking coffee.
That's what they should do. That's the best investment any employer can make toward their workforce, is to pay for their coffee. Like, here, let's pay. Dude, because here's the thing. If cocaine was legal, you bet your ass your job would pay for it, for you to have it in the fucking break room.
They'd be like, how do we drive up,
Yeah, how do we drive up sales? Every sales job in the country, if cocaine was legal and you could just go buy it with an ID, that would be at every party. It would be
how do we keep
Christmas
these motherfuckers
bonus.
awake after fucking lunch? Cocaine.
Cocaine. That's the move. Cocaine. No, I've never done cocaine before. I have a very all or nothing personality, and I feel like if I started, I wouldn't be able to stop. So I just kind of avoid it. I have
it's not that fun.
That's what I've heard. It's just, I don't know. Once I get into stuff, it's hard for me. Like, I have OCD, so once I get into things, and I don't have Tumblr OCD. Like, I've actually been diagnosed by a doctor.
It also doesn't last that long, so you'd be like, oh, that was fun. All right, I'll have a beer now, thanks.
Yeah. No, that's it's all laced with fentanyl now anyway, so I'm good. But no, I have a very obsessive compulsive personality. I don't use the word addictive personality because I don't think that's the right word for it, but I think it could transform into that if I wasn't careful. But I stay away from those things. We always had a rule in high school and after high school. It was, you never do drugs you never do a drug that can kill you in one hit. So that's why I stayed away from whippets and coke and stuff like that, and just did the fun stuff.
Whoa, back the fucking truck up. Who told you a whippet could fucking kill you?
I've heard of a whippet killing people before. It's a whippet can kill.
Did it blow up?
No, I mean, it's
device?
It's sudden sniffing death syndrome. It's a real thing.
You don't sniff it.
It's from the fucking aerosol cans.
You don't put it up your fucking nose, Caleb.
That's how people die. That's how people die from it, though. This shit goes straight to your brain and kills you. Yeah.
Oh my God. Do we have to have a class on how to do drugs properly?
We're not going to do a class on whippets. No, that will get us in trouble.
Let me put this out there. They don't go up your goddamn nose.
Never done one. Don't know. I don't know. What's the one that goes up your nose? Because I know some of them do. Like, I know one of them does, but no, it's I don't know. Just go huff car exhaust and call it good. No, I'm kidding. Don't huff car exhaust. That's
no.
That's a very
just stay with the alcohol and the cannabis and the caffeine and the nicotine. You'll all be fine.
Stay away from fentanyl too, because then you wind up trying to buy stuff with a counterfeit 20 out of stuff.
Yeah, just stay away from anything that could be laced with fentanyl, because these idiots don't know what they're doing.
That's
they're gonna kill you.
That's the problem. And the fentanyl crisis, it almost feels like it's a war on us. You know what I mean? Because the shit's coming from China. And we all know it's coming from China. And no drug dealer in his right mind is going to try to kill his clients. He's not going to he's not going to lace this stuff knowingly.
He's not lacing it with fentanyl because he doesn't know how to properly, like a little whatever could kill a
Yeah.
bunch of people.
Yeah.
This is not being done on purpose by your local drug dealer.
No, he's not going to
increase profits. He's putting baking soda. He's putting baby aspirin. He's
drywall.
putting non-lethal bullshit in your shit.
Yeah. They're not putting because I mean, think about it from that perspective.
Because they want return customers. Fuckers.
They want return customers, and they don't want the cops up their ass. If you sell someone cocaine, that if there's a reputation that coke with fentanyl going around killing people, well, the cops are eventually going to come back to you. So I mean, that would be very, very bad. And not everyone's that's slinging coke is probably the smartest person out there, but that's very bad business practices.
And they want to continue to make money. They want returning customers, just like every other person who opens a store. They want returning customers,
right? Like if Taco Bell made food if Taco Bell made food that made you sick every time, never mind, that actually happens. Bad example.
Yep.
But
they still go back there. They're dumb.
People still go back to Taco
cheap.
Bell.
I don't know. Does it taste good? I haven't eaten the shit in years.
Dog food. It's dog food is what they put in it, supposedly. And then if you go to Wendy's, that's where you go to get thumbs. So.
Oh my God.
It was a hoax, wasn't it?
Isn't everything a hoax now? I swear to God.
Well, COVID is. I know that.
We do know that. I'm coughing because I inhaled wrong.
Well, I had another COVID exposure. I didn't get it, so I don't know. I took
or maybe you did, and you didn't have any fucking symptoms.
I took my at-home test. I didn't have it.
Oh, because those are so useful and accurate.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I had it. Maybe I didn't. But I mean, we've had it. I don't know how many times in our house, and I've never gotten sick from it. So.
Good for you.
And there was one time I did take a test and came back negative while she was positive. So I don't know. I'm just rolling with the punches now. I think I've pretty much made it past the dangerous part. You look at the numbers now, if you even want to ever consider it to be dangerous, but you look at the numbers now, and it's a year ago there were like 30,000 cases with 300 deaths. Now there's 120,000 cases with 400 deaths. So obviously the virus is either not as deadly as it was before, or we figured out how to treat it more effectively. Either way, it's clearly not as concerning. And the fact that they're trying to bring masks back in places like Los Angeles is absolutely ridiculous.
Gavin Newsom is Looney Tunes. He's trying to go for the presidency. I think it's going to be hilarious. Go for it, dude. I'm just going to be eating popcorn.
He's going to get embarrassed. I don't think there's any... He won't make it out of the Democratic primary. So the thing is that shit works.
Look at the shithole he's turned California into, and
he's helped. He's sped up the process. It was already on its way.
Right, and the last 2 years have proved how awful it is to live there. Like people, the mass exodus from California and New York proves the draconian lockdown mandates and bullshit did not work. It put people off. Their taxes put people off. Businesses from every industry are just exiting those states in mass.
Yep. Well, I mean, see, a guy like Gavin Newsom can get elected in a state like California, right? But when you go out trying to win battleground states like Wisconsin, like Pennsylvania, like Florida, like Ohio, Georgia, Arizona, even Tech. I mean, that shit just doesn't work. People aren't going to go with that. They don't want to hear that.
They want none of it.
No.
They look at this slick fucking asshole who had all these draconian lockdowns, and then he gets pictured spending 30 grand at the French Laundry having a private dinner with his friends unmasked while all these happen, while he's got the strictest lockdowns going on ever. And it magically disappeared for the 2 hours that they were there.
Yeah, we just forget it happened. The guy is white privilege personified. Like, I would love to see in 2024 or 2028, I guess it would be, Gavin Newsom versus Ron DeSantis for the presidency.
Me too.
If the Democrats love to play we're pro worker, we're pro, for the little guy. When Newsom, his father was a multimillionaire. He inherited like a winery.
Oh, really?
He's a career politician. Yeah, Ron DeSantis, his mom was a teacher or a nurse, and his dad fixed TVs for a living. So you want to talk about a guy who grew up blue collar and middle class and the dude his dad fixed TVs for Nielsen for a living, and his mom was either a teacher or a nurse. and he went to Yale on merit and graduated cum laude, however you pronounce it.
Dude, what a rock star.
So, I mean, the guy, I mean, he's done great. Then he went into the military. He became a lawyer for both the military and the private sector. Then he ran for Congress and became governor. I mean, the guy, he's done everything. And he came from a background just like you and I. It should be very inspirational to people. And someone like Gavin Newsom, it's just very difficult for someone in a state like Wisconsin, like Michigan, like Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Georgia, to relate to somebody like Gavin Newsom, who inherited his father's winery. The biggest inconvenience he had in his life was that the elevator in their mansion didn't have air conditioning in it. You know, I mean, it was the hardest.
Yeah, he's totally relatable to the average American. I mean, why wouldn't anybody want to vote for somebody who wants to, you know, instill rules that they won't follow themselves, but they want to put them on you, tax the fuck out of you, make your state into the literal shithole. Like, there's literally shit maps of cities in California. Yeah, take over the country, please.
Heroin needles.
I forgot about that. I'm so sorry. Yeah,
on San Francisco. Yeah, use needles.
Hope you don't get AIDS walking through the park.
Yep. Keep them away from your kids. I think it was Denmark did it. It was someone from Rogan, or someone on Rogan was talking about it. I think it was Denmark. Their drug policy was very interesting. So if you had under a certain amount of any drug, it could be anything from pot to meth, right? If it was under a certain amount, it was not charged. They couldn't even fine you. They couldn't arrest you. They couldn't fine you for it. There's nothing they could do. You're not breaking any laws.
Wow.
But that's in your private house, right? In your residency. Okay. If you light up a crack pipe in public, if you act a fool while you're on drugs, if you pass out in the park while you're on heroin, you go to jail for years. They don't fuck around. So you can do the shit, but the second you fuck up, the second you do it in public, the second you do it in a house with kids, it's over. So it's almost like the carrot and the stick kind of thing. I mean, that may be the way to tackle the war on drugs here, because I mean, I don't think the government should ban if someone wants to sit in his house and do cocaine. I don't think that guy should go to jail for that. But if you're going to shoot up heroin and pass out at the park, I mean, I think we do eventually have some responsibility as a society to take care of that, to not let that happen, especially not expose our kids to it.
No, I think that EMS or EMT should be called, and the guy should be taken away to a facility where he can sober up or get help or whatever. I don't think he should go to jail. I don't think the police should be called because he's high. Right?
Yeah. I don't know. The problem with that is you can't really, if someone doesn't want to sober up, they're not going to. If the guy's out,
right,
you can't send someone to, if you send someone to rehab,
them from the public park, from children's views, from whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you're stoned out of your gourd, dude. You're not gonna hang out here and possibly pull your pants down in front of these kids. We're gonna take you away.
Stoned, I don't think they care about. It's more concerned with like hard drugs. Like if you have a guy passed out.
That's what I mean. That's what I meant. Like somebody on something crazy. Like if you smoke weed, you're not going to fucking take your clothes off in the park in front of kids.
PCP?
You're going to sit there and enjoy the fucking nature and go home and get a snack.
Yeah, PCP, maybe though.
Right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, if you're on hard drugs and you're suspect in public, have some people come and take you to a place where you can like be away from the general public and children. And
jail?
I just said not jail, Caleb.
I think jail would be okay. I don't know. But I don't know. There's two arguments to it. I think if you give people the ability to do it legally in a place, they're not going to go do it illegally somewhere else in public.
Right.
So I don't.
I guess I was kind of focusing more on like, I think the homeless population, like most people that are going to do drugs that can afford it or whatever, that have a place, they're not going to pass out in a public fucking park getting high.
Sure.
I'm talking about like the unfortunate homeless who, for the most part, choose to be homeless so that they don't have to conform to society's rules. And here's where we are.
Well, they choose to be homeless for that, and they can get help. That's the thing, is when you see these panhandlers out there begging for money for food,
there are plenty of resources.
There are places that will feed you. There are places that will give you a place to stay. The problem is those places require you to be sober. And you can show up drunk, you can show up high, and they'll detox you. But the second you're clean and you bring that shit back, you're out and you're not allowed back. And that's why those people are out there. They refuse to go get help and follow a program that's going to get them off of these substances. And that's why they resort to that. Or they're just a con artist. I mean, there's people that panhandle and they got brand new Jordans on. You know, you see them walk over to their Mercedes. Like I've seen a lady got the new AirPods in that panhandles over. Or we don't live where panhandlers are anymore. We're moved up in life now, but our old house where they would panhandle, yeah, she had fucking the AirPod Pros on all the time, and I'd seen her walk to her brand new Chevy Impala, and like, come on, man. Like at what point did the people? But people are still subsidizing this shit. They're still giving her money.
She probably lived in that car. Excuse me, you have
$275 a month
and a home. I'm sorry, you have to have a residence and a job to get a brand new car. Sorry,
yeah, to get a loan, unless you pay cash for it. But yeah, you got to have some kind of resident. Well, I mean, you got to have a driver's license that shows. But you can put pretty much anywhere, and they're not really gonna. As long as you have bills going there.
I'm sorry. The last time that I got my driver's license, I had to bring all sorts of bullshit with me to prove where I lived and yada, yada, yada.
Oh, it's terrible. I remember I was working years ago. I changed addresses and I was working at a bank. And I also banked at that same bank. And I brought the shit into the DMV because I needed a bank statement and a pay stub. I'm like, okay, here you go. And they go, well, we can't have it from the same place. And I'm like, well,
what?
The two pieces have to be from different so the bank statement and the pay stub have to be from different area or from different companies, right? So I'm like, well, is the only place I work, and that's the only place I bank. So you're gonna have to get your boss to make an exception here because I don't have anything else. Because you guys wanted a
new bank account just for you.
Because I had a credit card through another bank, but they wouldn't accept that. They told me they couldn't take a credit card bill. It had to be a bank statement, which I don't understand why. But or you can use a utility bill. But you know, when you're moving somewhere and can't get your shit changed, they can't send you utilities. So it's like because the only reason I went was because I went to go buy a gun, right? And I gave the guy my concealed carry permit, and I had just moved. And he goes, is this your current address? And I went instinctively went, no, I'm working on getting it changed. He's like, well, I can't sell this to you until you get that changed. Now that you've admitted that. He's like, if you just would have lied, he's like, there's nothing I could have done. We don't look it up. But now that you told me I can't, I'm like, fuck.
God
so I went and got it the next day. but as long as you have the paper saying they changed it. But there's some bars here in Omaha that will throw you out for that. Like, we went after a comedy show one night downtown. I'm not going to name the place because I don't want to hurt anyone's income or anything. But we went to this bar after a comedy show, and my ID was expired. I was waiting for the new one to come in the mail. I had that little paper that they give you, the one that you can take money out of the bank with. The one that if you gave it to a cop when you got pulled over, he'd say this is fine, go ahead.
Yeah.
The one that you can get on a plane with, buy a gun with, anything, right? Mm-hmm. So but you cannot order beers at this bar. So I showed it to the guy, and he's like, "No, I can't serve you unless you have an actual ID." I'm like, "You gotta be like, whatever. It's cool. I'll just hang out." So Zach Bravietti buys me a beer. He's like, "I'll take care of this." So he buys me a beer, and he gives it to me, and I'm like trying to avoid the bartender that saw it, and I'm just chilling, talking to some of my friends, and he comes up behind me and goes, "Excuse me, sir, you have an expired ID." I went, "Yes, I do." And he goes, "And that's a beer in your hand." And I took it. I looked at it. I took a drink. I looked back at it, and I went, "It would appear it is." And he goes, "So I'm going to take that from you, and then I'm going to ask you to leave." And I went, "Fair enough. Have a good night." I was like, I tried. I played the game. I lost. It is what it is. I wasn't too mad about it. I'd been back.
God damn.
I was in his place. I was playing by his. I think the bartender was kind of new, and he just didn't know. And I was in his place. I was playing by his rules. I'm not going to throw a fit. It is what it is. So
right, but an expired ID with a new ID, it still doesn't make you too young to fucking drink.
Right? No, yeah. I'm clearly old enough. Like I know I'm not super old looking, but you can look at me and tell I'm 21. There's just the tattoos alone. There's not many people that are under 21 that have the time and money to put this much ink on their fucking body.
Right, and the facial hair, all of it together, should have been enough.
Yeah, it's like come on, guys.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
but they're supposed to card
Use some
anyone who looks
common
under
sense.
50. Anyone that looks under 50 is supposed to be carded. That's the
let's
rule
use
at those
some common
places.
sense and use the government issued fucking
Well,
piece
I
of
even
paper
told
that
him.
you're in.
I even told him, I'm like, bro, like I have my concealed carry permit. That's a government thing. It's not expired. It's got my name and my address and my birthday on it. He's like, I can't take that. Like it's a government ID. Like, come on. Like, what a fucking joke.
I guess carry your passport next time. They can't.
I don't
turn
have a
that shit
passport.
down.
I gotta get one.
Yeah.
We're going to Italy next summer, so I gotta get one. Anyway.
Fuck yeah. All right. Let's wrap this up because I have got to use the ladies.
Okay. All right. We'll wrap it up here. Let me see. This Friday I'll be in Norfolk, Nebraska. You can check that out. That's on my Instagram at Caleb Isn't Funny. All my dates are there. Not at all. Then the next weekend I've got off, and then Thursday I'm in Thursday the 4th. Excuse me, I'm doing a winery in Council Bluffs, and then the 5th and 6th I'll be at the Backline in downtown Omaha. The 13th I'll be headlining at Beach House in Omaha, formerly Wired Pub. The 26th of August, I will be running our roast battle, Verbal Assault. I'm not roasting in it, but I'm hosting it. It is always a fun time to do roast battles. Trust me, you want to come out. We've got a couple, Mel Mackey and Damon Tucker. They're dating. They're going to be roasting each other. Maybe we can ruin a relationship that night.
Shit.
Justin Healy and Ben Webb are roasting each other for whatever reason. Ben Webb does not like Justin Healy, and they've both just been going at it in the group chat, just mean, not even creative, just mean with each other. And it's going to be great. They both got some creative shit up their sleeve. They've told me about that the other one's not going to be ready for. Like I told Ben, and he's like, if you can promise nothing violent will happen. I'm like, bro, nothing violent is going to happen. I promise you. I'm like, dude, it's fine.
Ben, he's so sweet.
He's like, well,
but that's so weird to hear that they are like going at it. Wow.
I don't even know. Ben removed him as a friend on Facebook, and that's what started it years ago. So
and
I'm
you
like,
said it was Brent Bradley, right?
No, Justin Healy. Brett Bradley's going to be on it too. He'll be battling Julian Johnson
against somebody else.
Yep. And then 9/11, Wichita, Kansas. I'll be down there. So if y'all are in Wichita, September 11th, it's a Sunday. You should go and check me out. It's through Ronnie Glenn Williams' show. And then I will be. I don't have the date yet, but I'm headlining.
You know what? Make a poster, Caleb. It'll be shorter.
I'm headlining in Lincoln in October. So we'll.
Good.
We got gigs left and right. I got too much shit going on. Mia's sitting here looking at me like, God damn it. No, she's probably happy because I'll be out of the house. So
I bet.
Finally, she can get some. All right, we're going to wrap it up. This has been Mental Misdeeds. Thank you guys so fucking much. Make sure to go get the wine, Blood of Tyrants. Promo code MENTAL.
And we'll put that link in the description so that you guys can take advantage of that, a little discount.
For Spirit of 1776. Fuck yeah. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
Peace out.